Tonight in Milwaukee, the political hub of the world, you've got the first GOP presidential primary. I still think Trump's showing up. He's going to roll his gold podium out.
I don't think so.
Bring your own gold podium.
It would definitely add to the spice of the debate.
You kidding? Turn the whole thing into professional wrestling, which it is kind of in some ways anyway. Pat Brady doing this. Good morning, Pat. How are you?
Great, guys. How you doing?
Doing fine. Can I just whip through these candidates and you give me a quick take on each one of them?
Absolutely.
Tim Scott.
Impressive candidate. Be a great nominee.
Nikki Haley.
Same. Super qualified, very measured, super smart. I think we'll have a good night tonight.
Doug Governor.
Bergman? Or Burgum?
I think he'll do better than most people think. He's got kind of a Reagan-esque message, although he made the mistake of hiring the same guys from Illinois that ran the Richard Irvin campaign, so we'll see where that goes.
Oh, you're kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah, what a joke.
Oh, those guys. The fact that those guys can still make money is amazing.
Yeah, Mike Zonerovit's the genius, yeah.
Asa Hutchinson.
Super qualified, nice guy, but not a chance.
Vivek.
Here's a quick story.
Yeah, go.
So some of these guys qualified. You had to get 40,000 individual donors.
Yep.
Asa Hutchinson and the governor of Burgum actually paid people to make donations. Burgum gave $20 for every $1 donation.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
he's got the money,
right?
Yeah, the whole reason to winnow the stage down is to get the real contenders.
Exactly.
You had to go buy him. So.
Well, that and the signing of the pledge are both stupid things that are being done. Vivek Ramaswamy.
A fraud.
No, I don't disagree. The guy lies. The guy completely lies about things he said, and he's shown the video, and he goes, "I didn't say that."
Yeah,
who's that remind you of?
He's a smart
politician.
No,
George Santos' little brother.
Yeah,
yeah, it really is. Ron DeSantis.
This is his make or break night, I think. If he doesn't step it up a bit, his campaign will start free falling again.
Does he have the ability to step it up?
No, I watched some of his old debates. He just does not have the people skills. You watch a guy like Bill Clinton or Reagan or some other people that were really good at this. DeSantis just doesn't have the people skills.
Chris Christie.
Very entertaining. I'm afraid tonight if he goes overboard, he's never going to be really taken seriously as much as I like what he's saying.
Yeah, smart guy, could govern for sure. Definitely has some skeletons in the closet. In the post-Trump world, he ought to be able to get around any of them unless he killed a guy and we don't know about it. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Mike Pence.
He's a very skilled debater, a very measured guy. I think his best – he's still having trouble connecting because he's in such a bad spot. He's not Trumpy enough for the Trumpies, and for the people that don't necessarily like Trump, he's too Trumpy. He's got the worst of both Trump worlds, but he's a very skilled debater.
Andrea.
Okay, 63%, CNN poll this morning, 63% of people surveyed say they disapprove of the way Joe Biden's been handling the economy. However, same story, experts are warning that a second Trump presidency would be a disaster for the U.S. economy. So we're all stuck kind of between a rock and a hard place, aren't we?
Yeah, and I said this a couple of weeks ago. We deserve better than two guys pushing 80. It's time to move on from all this. And even with those horrible Biden numbers, he still beats Trump. That's how bad Trump is.
Can't these candidates gain some traction? I mean, all 8 of them tonight by saying, look, we could spend a whole evening talking about Trump, or we could talk about what matters in America.
What we're going to do.
And that is what people paid for groceries today.
Well, that's why tonight's going to be so interesting, because it's actually the first opportunity for them to do that. And I know that the moderators will probably steer it towards Trump talk, but I think that we're starting to see a crack a little bit in the Trump world. Even the conservative legal minds are saying Trump may constitutionally be ineligible to be president. So it's slowly but surely eroding. And if somebody has a breakout night, does a great job, articulates a good message, I think so. But the kind of the flip side of that is it appears to me that the Republican primary voters, all they want is chaos in Trumpism, and that's, I'm not sure if you can come back from that.
And specifically, why do you call them the primary voters? Explain that.
Well,
this is not the mass Republican Party, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, arguably, the primary voters are the party, but the reality is, if you want to define, conservatism, I'm a conservative, but I'm not a Trump Republican. The primary voters are the Trumpies. The 35% or 36% of people that identify as conservative, they're just dying for Trump.
And keep in mind, 35%, I think it's lower than that, but that's the number you keep saying. Mm-hmm. But 30 to 35%, those are the people who show up. Well, the angry middle has not, except for Election Day 2024. And here's a bulletin. You got to show up before that. Any chance Trump shows up tonight?
I don't think so. I think that Fox is already committed to not letting him on the stage, but who knows? If it does, then it's just all theater. And this whole thing's a joke if he does. I doubt it. He's got right now so much legal jeopardy, so much baggage that I just don't, as much as he'd like to, I'm sure his lawyer's like, man, you got to just stay away for a while.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think that you're a lawyer? Don't you think that's the primary driver, that if he is listening to his lawyers now, even for a little bit, they said, no. You don't freestyle in public about anything right now because you don't know what you're going to say next.
I think he's in a no man's land between listening to his lawyers and listening to his ego. But the reality is he's going to be arraigned in Georgia tomorrow. And this will be his fourth arraignment or formal charging or, booking procedure. And, the first one was down there in Palm Beach, right? You basically want to order a margarita. This isn't the Fulton County. This is more akin to going to Cook County, where he's going to be processed and booked. It's going to be a real process. I can't imagine that this is not weighing heavily on him. If he's not thinking, because he's looking at some pretty significant jail time.
That legal question for you. If any of these indictments leads to a quick or speedy trial, which I doubt it will, but if it does and he is convicted, he can't run, correct?
No, he can run. There was a president candidate in, I think, the early 1900s that actually ran from prison. Doesn't disqualify, but there's an emerging school of thought from conservative jurists that say that under the 14th Amendment, the Article 3 of the 14th Amendment, that he's not eligible because he helped stage an insurrection. Now,
right.
It's complicated, but I was reading through the materials last night. I do believe that in some of these states, there will be Democratic Secretary of States or Attorney Generals that will make a motion to dismiss him from the ballot under the 14th Amendment. In the legal theory, I think the legal theory is pretty sound. I'm not sure what the process is, but the reality is, because of Trump, we will be probably in a constitutional crisis in 7 or 8 months with the case in front of the Supreme Court on whether or not Donald Trump is actually eligible to run. And that's the choice that we're going to have to make as Republicans. Do we want to put the country through this again? And Trump this is not even a partisan thing. This is a preservation of democracy thing now. And this is where we could be conceivably in 8 or 9 months.
Let's pick up on that. But I also want you to talk a little bit about the Mapes trial wrapping up. Madigan maybe finally going to jail. Boy, that'd be swell. God, Madigan, I know it's a local case versus a federal case, but God, if we could save some money and put Trump and Madigan in joint cells, that'd be cool. All right, so let's do imagination a little further. Pat Brady rejoins us now. So, Pat, you own a business. So let's say you were hiring, and somebody comes in and they have some experience, but then they disclose to you that, well, I have been indicted 4 different times, and I have to stand for trial, so I don't know how much time I can commit to the job.
Right.
Are you hiring him, Pat?
No, I can let him work from jail.
No, this is different than work from home. This is work from jail.
Just zoom it in. Yeah, jail's good.
But this is the prime point I wish people would connect with. Okay, even if you buy into all the nonsense, even if you buy into they're all just picking on Trump. How could he do the job while he is fighting to stay out of jail?
Mm-hmm. 4 times.
Probably the bigger point, all he's talking about if he gets elected is the retribution. It's going to be Mussolini. He's not going to serve people. He's going there to get revenge and stay out of prison. So it makes no sense on a lot of levels. I do think slowly but surely the overwhelming majority of people are starting to figure it out.
So let's talk about another criminal, Mike Madigan. Mike Madigan is, sitting on the sidelines watching his right hand. Is that fair to call Mapes his right hand?
Yeah, I mean, I got another name for him, but yeah, that's good.
He's at least one of the fingers.
Yeah.
And Mapes' trial, the defense rested yesterday. Explain who Mapes is and explain this trial for a second.
Mapes was the gatekeeper for Madigan for decades. He had his chief of staff, and he ran the Democratic Party for a long time, too. But he was the guy that protected Madigan, and he talked with Mike McLean, the other guy that's already been convicted. So it was this kind of troika of people in Springfield. You could not talk to Madigan unless Mapes let you do it. He's like the Wizard of Oz, but he was wrapped up in this investigation, and they called him in. The Fed said, hey, okay, we'll give you immunity. But the judge said, but you absolutely cannot lie. We're going to go to the grand jury, but you can't lie. So he goes in the grand jury and he lies. And the evidence as it's rolled out is substantially even greater than I thought. Who knows what a jury might do, but they're doing the closing arguments today, and I anticipate this jury will probably be back tomorrow. But this guy could have gone in, told the truth, and walked into his $150,000 a year pension, never looked back. But because he's so kind of psychotically loyal to Madigan and all the creepiness that involved, he got up and lied.
Is that why he didn't testify? Because he would have been caught?
Well, a defendant has an absolute right not to testify, right? It's up to the government to prove it. But I can't imagine that Mapes testifying would have been helpful to his case. What's his defense? He goes, I don't remember. That's not a defense when the prosecution has overwhelming evidence of previous conversations that contradict what he said in the grand jury. So I don't think he had much choice. And lesson learned, too, in the ComEd trial, one of the defendants testified and it buried her. So my theory always was, back when I was doing this, that if the defendant's testifying, I'm probably going to win.
So bottom line on Mapes, though, Pat, he's not worth anything to prosecutors at this point in Madigan's trial, right? I mean, the credibility's gone. There's nothing there.
No, they thought so. That's why they gave him immunity. But now that he's lied, I can see now that the evidence is kind of rolled in. I haven't been sitting in the courtroom, but I'm found that if I were the prosecutors, I would have been furious with them, because they knew when they asked him the questions in the grand jury, they already knew the answers, but he just got up and lied. And so they go, okay, that's enough. You don't typically, you're not looking to charge somebody with perjury typically. But man, they did charge him here and with obstruction because he just got in and lied.
So bringing it back to Milwaukee tonight to wrap it up, because I know you got to go be on TV because you're pretty and stuff. So who's going to jump out tonight? Prediction.
I really don't know. I've got just a guess. It's going to be boring.
Boring.
Yeah, I think it's going to be boring. I think people are too afraid to go after Trump, even if the Fox moderators want them to. I think they're just going to try to be seen as presidential. So it won't be like, screaming at Megyn Kelly like it was 7 years ago, or whatever that was.
By the way, she's lost her mind, but that's another topic.
Who goes away tonight?
That's a good point. Who gets eliminated? Who's kicked off the island?
Right.
Remember, it's still very, very early. We're in August, and the first votes aren't even cast until January. So we've got a long way to go. And these primaries, it's state by state. I know there's national polls that have Trump with these big leads, but I've seen races where a candidate will have a win in Iowa or New Hampshire or whatever, and go from 15 down to 15 up. These things can change overnight once people actually start voting. And I got a sneaking suspicion there are a lot of people that don't say they're not voting for Trump because they don't want to get yelled at the Thanksgiving table, but people that are looking for an alternative. So I think tonight the smart play is just act presidential.
Agree.
I'm telling you, if you get one candidate who just focuses on the cost of groceries,
right,
and the cost of gas,
immigration, the border, just focus on
don't even go deep enough. I mean, yeah, immigration, okay, rule of three, immigration, but that's such a big, weighty thing. I'm just talking about what's in your house right now,
right?
Not some made up fears about stuff, nothing else. What's affecting you in your house? What can you not afford to do? If we had one candidate that said that over and over again tonight, I guarantee they'd be headlines tomorrow.
Yeah, I can imagine, too, as a Republican, if you had a ticket like Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, which one way or another, what a ticket that would be, what a game changer that would be, versus a 4-time indicted, twice impeached, narcissistic goofball that's just going to do nothing but drag the rest of the ticket. If he's at the top of the ticket again, we're going to lose the House and we won't get the Senate back. Just forget the Republican Party, notwithstanding the damage he's already done here in Illinois. So I hope people realize, if you really care about conservative politics, if you want limited government, if you want things conservatives stand for, you cannot nominate Trump.
Well, based on how tonight goes, no, either way, I've still got to have the colonoscopy tomorrow. But are you going to Milwaukee?
You want me to go with you? I'll go with you.
I thought you were going to Milwaukee. That's kind of a colonoscopy in and of itself, going to the debate. I love Milwaukee. Don't.
You mean going to the debate?
Yeah, the debate. I love Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a great town.
No, I got to get one tonight. I'll go with you.
No, I'm
you
good.
guys can do a twofer.
Yeah.
No, one off.
Yeah. Jeez. That's why I felt bad about Bed Bath & Beyond going out of business. I thought maybe there'd be a coupon for this.
Old guy talk. Yeah, what he did today. I'm going in for my colonoscopy. Jeez, what happened to us?
Yeah, I know. We used to be somebody.
Used to be fun.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. See ya.
All right, flip side. Who wins? Who wins tonight? I know you can never. Oh, there's never going to be a winner. Yeah,
I think Christie.
There will be.
I think
You think Christie? I think Nikki Haley. What do you think, Nick?
It's going to be Christie or Nikki. I do like Tim Scott.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That would be a good ticket. Tim Scott, Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley, yeah.
Make a lot of history. Tell you what, if Republicans nominated a woman and an African American,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's your new Republican Party.
Yeah.
Right?